A few months ago, I flew back home to Annapolis, Maryland from Boston to visit my parents for the day. Both of my parents are in their 90s and are now at a point in their lives where they need full-time nursing care. I brought them communion, which I know they always appreciate. When I walked into their apartment, I found my father fast asleep in his recliner chair. My mother was sitting by the sliding glass door, staring out into the courtyard. She was quietly saying her rosary. When my mother turned and saw me, her face glowed as she greeted me. After I gave her communion, which she received with great devotion, my mother spent some time in quiet prayer, while my father, like one of the apostles in the garden, continued to sleep. Turning to me with a beautiful smile, she said, "God has been so good to us, Philip." And then she told me to remember to thank God for life's blessings. At first I was amazed, and then I was so overwhelmed with gratitude because the one thing that her dementia had not obliterated or altered was her attitude of gratitude, a characteristic that has always permeated my mother and father's life. You know, almost every day when I awaken in the city of Boston, it's morning before it's morning. Darkness still hovers, and as I wait for the dawn under my covers, I can hear it even before I see it. Of course, the most obvious sound is the cacophony of traffic driving outside my window. But then there are the slight sounds of attunement as a chorus of birds assembles in our garden. The birds are of one accord. They do not take the dawn for granted. When it bursts upon them again, they give thanks once again for this once only day to begin. How different creatures as simple and as lowly as the birds are from us. They approach each day as if it were the beginning of creation, while so many of us start our day in a rather mechanical way, jarred into motion by some kind of alarm. We have set the time to begin, or so we believe, and thus we take the possibility of each new day for granted. And what we take for granted easily becomes just another thing in our lives, something else to be worked on, something else to be managed, something else to be consumed. Sadly, the realities we take for granted can no longer be recognized as amazing grace, and therefore they rarely evoke a sense of gratitude in us. Gratitude is more than just a feeling. It's an attitude. It's a stance toward life. An attitude of gratitude anchors us in hope that whatever sufferings the circumstances of life inflict upon us, all is meaningful in God's regard for us. Every moment, good or bad, has led us to this present moment of our lives, and we recognize that life itself is good. That's why I love Mary's Magnificat. It's her song of gratitude for God. It is a song of gratitude that she sings constantly, like the birds in the morning, recognizing the greatness of God in the present moment, rejoicing in the mercy of God even in the darkness. It is her call to us to remember and to be grateful for God's blessings in the midst of our ordinary and burdened lives, like my mother with dementia at 92, who can still experience that wonderful attitude of gratitude. Remember, it is not what we do, but who we are that is precious in God's sight. What had Mary done to be chosen as the mother of Jesus? Nothing. What have I achieved during my lifetime? Is not the appropriate question for the later years of life. What am I at this moment? That is the question. It is the quality of love with which we live our lives that is so important. Mary's Magnificat, her canticle of gratitude, proclaims so boldly that with God all things are possible. We really need her. She is our soul friend, our counselor, our spiritual director. She is our refuge, our hope, our life. She will give to us that attitude of gratitude that will help us to appreciate who we are in God's sight.